have you now.
Welcome to the BS Show, the only podcast made by BS, for BS, and filled with BS. With your hosts, the free-to-play Kraken, Sparrow, Grand Jedi Master, Victavius, and everyone's favorite catfish, Dr. Sheesith. On tonight's episode, we fumble our way through our first recording, get trooper tips from Vic, and learn why Sparrow hates Gear 10 tunes. Enjoy the show. Oh, and fuck off.
Galaxy is father and son.
So, welcome to the BS Show. For our first episode ever, we're going to do a roster review for one of the members of BHG Black Sun, and his name is Vic. We have him on the show here now.
Hello. Figure it's probably a good way to at least start this off. Go a little bit friendly and kind of pick apart one of our own roster settings.
Yeah, that's true. It is easier this way before we ridicule others.
I don't think anybody knows what we're doing yet, though. We should tell them.
Well, go for it then.
So we had the idea, inspired from a couple of members in Black Sun, that it might be useful to have a conversation with some of our members and take a look at their rosters, see what they're doing really well at, see what they could improve on their roster, and also just kind of get to know who the hell these people are in our guild that we spend so much time playing this game with.
Perfect. So, now I guess to get started, Vic, why don't you tell us a little bit about when you started playing and so on and so forth?
Yeah, you bet. So I've been playing since October, about a year and a half ago, so I guess that would make it 2016. Started off free to play, started kind of doing the odd investment here and there. I suppose it's dolphin-ish. Don't necessarily need to buy a lot of crystals. I do come first, second in fleet on the daily, so that's helped a lot, but I still do invest every now and then. As you can see with the roster up in front of me, quite a few Zetas as well going on there. On the initial screen that was up, right now I'm sitting in first in arena, and that happens every day. Of course, having a good arena shard chat. But yeah, other than that, I've basically been in 4 guilds. Started off with a Pug guild, and then moved over to what used to be Team Skunk before it collapsed, and we started GGC out of that. I was with Guardians Beta, then we were over with Tau, and then I want to say it was just before Lightside Territory Battles that I came over to Black Sun with BHG.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
How'd you get into Black Sun?
Oh, to be honest, the story, because I brought a couple of high-ranked players with.
That's true. One of them did cut bait and run, though. What a loser.
That happened. Love you, Tove.
Okay, so before we go into full-on roster review here, why don't you tell us what you're most proud of and least proud of with your roster?
Well, I think right now, one of the things that I do very much like about my roster is my trigger team. Got the Zeta on Veers. Pull that one up. Yeah, I'll let you pull that up there. Yeah, so I got the Zeta on Veers. My Stark is G11. Works fantastically. It kind of reminds me of when I used to run droids, actually, just for how much he'll actually do with the team and how much they speed it up. Snow Trooper has actually been a really, really good improvement to me. I was really shocked at how good that tune was, especially for when you kind of get right at the beginning and no one really ever thinks about it. And actually a little hidden gem right within the team. Shore Trooper, excellent tank. Funny story about the shore trooper. Coming up on almost a year ago now, I actually had a warrior roster review, and my shore trooper was level 1, gear 1, 5-star, and he said that it made him want to cry. So I thought that was good. I still hold the only person who ever actually had a tear running down Warrior's face for his roster. So that became a little up of mine before I unlocked Novi, and obviously the highest ranked trooper I've got. So right there, those 5 right there are pretty much one of my top for what I'm proud of with the roster. One of the things that disappoints me, honestly, is most likely my Sith team. My Sith team is not good. I ran droids through that. I also ran Jedi through that. Now, I mean, granted, Palpatine, Vader, Nihilus. Nihilus actually is a very recent improvement. But Maul, Oppress, Dooku. I've only recently done anything with Assassin and Trooper. Sidious I had back in my initial startup days when he was kind of left over for the old meta. So, I mean, I'm not entirely sure whether or not that should be a point of improvement for me, or if it's okay for now.
I'm just shocked to see a Dooku that's that terrible, because I thought everybody ran him for his dodge lead at one point or another.
I missed that meta. That
Yeah,
was a
that
meta.
was he started playing. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, true enough, I suppose. Some of us have been playing this game too long, I guess.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely agree. Your Sith squad definitely needs some work. It seems so far that all those rumors on Sith Assassin and Sith Trooper haven't really come to much, but I suppose the Game Changers are currently down at EA, and they're going to be getting a sneak preview of what's coming up. To be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if we still needed Sith Assassin and Sith Trooper, just not to get Revan, but to get something else.
Mm-hmm.
But you are close to having both of those to 7-star, and for the most part, in my opinion at least, the last few legendary events haven't really required maxed out gear. They more just require you to have the characters at 7-star.
Mm-hmm.
And some reasonable gear level or some good mods you can swap around. I do have one question for you on your troopers, though. We'll go back there for a moment. Why did you go with both Shore Trooper and Stormtrooper? It seems most people who run them pick one or the other as basically the tank of the group and run Death Trooper in that other spot. Seems a little surprising to me that your Death Trooper is a bit behind and you're running both Shore and Storm.
It depends on where I am, actually, within territory battles. That's normally where I run them a lot. The first few phases, I will always run Death Trooper in that spot. The other reason I've got a good Stormtrooper as well as a good Shore Trooper, I was looking at time, the Thrawn-led team that has the double tank, and Death Trooper and Krennic is part of why I was trying to get Death Trooper up. Beyond that, this also allows for a lot of flexibility. Shore Trooper will work in multiple teams, and I find that Stormtrooper actually works better specifically under a year's lead. So if things are kind of looking a little funky, Shore Trooper can be swapped out into another Empire team, I think, better than Stormtrooper can, and it gives me more flexibility on the tank.
Right, makes sense.
So, okay, so talking to some of our members who don't have the troopers that you have, and if they're trying to prioritize right now, what would be your top 3 trooper tunes for them to work on?
Veers for sure. Veers going full Omega with the Zeta is phenomenal. For one, Stark has got to be a big hit on that. For anyone that used to run droids, ran against droids, one of the biggest things was running a Jow engineer. It was running a fast Jow engineer, so you could get that turn first. And Stark very much plays that role. So if you can get Stark fast and you can get him highly geared, you get him going right off the bat, and that really starts getting your team going. The third one, funny enough, is Snowtrooper. Snowtrooper with the Omega on overwhelming assault, as well as the I think that's his unique. It's unique and the special. You want to get the Omegas on both of them. The crits help feed turn meter, plus as well the crits on his special help drop his cooldowns on that. So yes, overwhelming assault there in the center. So with the Omega on that, you actually reduce the cooldown, so you can basically AOE almost every single round.
It is actually quite nice when Snow Trooper does his AOE every single round. I know last night I had one arena match, and I was using my troopers against Night Sisters, and the match ended in 38 seconds, and my troopers aren't nearly as good as yours, because Snow Trooper just kept taking turn after turn doing his AOE, and the entire team just melted. Quite nice to see.
Absolutely. And even the assault training right there, you can read that out. And the Snow Trooper gains 30% turn meter when a United unit is defeated, and other Empire allies will gain that half amount as well. So every time you're killing one of your opponents, that's what's feeding or helping to feed your entire trooper squad more turn meter, and it's incredible.
Exactly, and with the Veers lead, that works out to be 80% turn meter for the Snow Trooper on every kill, and 65% for everybody else. Which means if there's a weak zombie, you're gaining 85% turn meter every AoE, so you can get a lot of AoEs in very quickly.
One of the things I actually discovered when we were doing one of the territory wars was that this trooper team is actually really good against Phoenix, and it shocked the hell out of me actually, just for how good it really was against Phoenix.
Really?
Like I took them down, I think, in about a minute and a half, and it was a good G11 Phoenix squad. No Zetas, mind you, but it was a good squad.
Interesting.
So if you had a choice between a Phoenix squad and let's say you were up against, a Night Sisters or another really tough team that we might come across in territory wars, would you prefer to use your troopers for another team, or Phoenix is where it's at?
Yeah, no, I like holding the troopers back for Night Sisters for sure, but it seems like Night Sisters are really falling out of favor on defense, just because you're starting to see more and more troopers going and more trooper teams, and I think they've got a better use on offense anyway. So I mean, like they're good, they're versatile in that respect as well.
So we've talked about some of the good, but let's take a look at some of the bad. Now, first of all, I see one glaring omission here. How do you not have Lobot?
How do I not Lobot? I know, right? Lobot is it's one of those like critical meta destruction toons.
He's completely useless, but if you've been playing for any length of time, shouldn't you have gotten Lobot just from some Bronziums or from GW shard drops or something?
He's actually a shard. Hasn't activated him.
I wish that was the case. No, I think he's about 3 shards from activation. He's literally been a Bronzium farm. I have just never actually had a full unlock. I think I'm at 47 to 50 on him.
Okay. So, and oh my goodness, this is a crying shame here. You have Hermit Yoda at 5 stars, level 1, gear 1.
Yesterday.
Cry.
So, what, your fingers were broken since yesterday and you couldn't put training droids on him?
Yeah, something like that. No, I just haven't had a chance to get around to it. I unlocked him yesterday morning. There's going to be some gear and leveling that'll be happening on him right away.
Have you got any shards yet for Wampa, or is he hanging back?
I think Wampa, I'm at 5 of 145 we got for free. On him is the only thing I have gotten after the next sets of, I guess, territory battles. He's going to be the next focus. Is going to go and actually unlock Wampa.
Okay, so other than that, most of the characters that you have low here, they're not really critical for anything. I know those of us who didn't buy any packs in our guild are still working on unlocking Imperial Probe Droid. That should happen for all of us next Dark Side territory battle.
Why is your BB-8? If you go to his BB-8 page, why does your BB-8 not have some more mods?
Sorry, I'm just looking for the BB-8 and I'm not seeing it. Give me a moment. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Why have you not put mods on BB-8?
Same reason I haven't put gear on BB-8. He's a mod storage unit for the moment. I'm slowly gearing him up. Right now, my best mods are on my UC Help Lead team. With BB-8 at 5-star, it's really not doing a lot for me, at least at this point. Once we start getting closer, we start going to 7-star, the focus will definitely go on to him.
Well, it is true. BB-8 is pretty much only useful with Jedi training Rey. He can work with some other teams, but his main use is to make Rey an unstoppable force.
And as of right now, Vic has not unlocked Jedi training Rey, but I know that's in the future.
Yeah.
Yep, he needs a bunch of shards for veteran smuggler Chewbacca.
Okay,
but
so
once
apparently
he has those, he should be ready.
Yeah, that one hasn't upgraded. It is at 5 stars now. That was as of this afternoon.
Well, you still need 185 shards then.
84.
184. I am corrected.
But as far as gear goes, Gear 8 was enough to get through that event, as long as your other tunes were relatively strong.
Oh yeah, the event was relatively easy, unless you were trying to scrape by the skin of your teeth on every aspect of it. I guess that means you are going to need to get some more gear and mods on BB-8, though.
Yeah, and Scavenger Rey as well, I think.
So Vic, in Territory Wars, especially coming off this awesome win that we had today against VHG AAA stars, would you say that you're outperforming your GP or underperforming?
For Territory Wars, it's interesting. With this last one that came out, I really didn't have a chance to play a lot. I think I had 1 win out of 4 battles where I kind of set up the other 3 that I played in for someone else to kind of come in and scrape it. I don't necessarily know that I'm outperforming, underperforming. Territory Wars is a very hard one to look at because there's a lot of times where I'll go in and, shall we say, get vultured right behind. So you see a lot of stuff there. That one doesn't really cross the platform. But in Territory Battles, I think I do a hell of a lot better than where my overall GP would suggest that I am. And I think a lot of that's due to team composition. For light side, for me anyways, I use Phoenix in every round. My Phoenix and my Resistance help me get through almost absolutely every single round. And they are a phenomenal one work together.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Phoenix teams goes, in Black Sun, there's a few people in this guild that have good Phoenix teams. 3 of them are on this podcast right now. Usually I see Vic Sparrows and my Phoenix, Maddox's Phoenix. I usually see them hanging around. So what's your preferred Phoenix team comp?
Right now, it's running with Zeb dropping Kanan, and that's mostly just because of gear. I do like having Chopper in there. I find that the extra protection boost that you get every round is great. The stagger that you get off both Zeb and Sabine help huge for territory battles. Like that right there can go 6 of 6 in 5, and usually 5 of 6 or 6 of 6 in phase 6.
See, for me, I've always considered Hera, Zeb, Kanan, and Chopper to be the irreplaceable ones in a Phoenix squad, because Kanan, he gives you your counter, which means you don't want to AoE the team. You never know when somebody's going to be hitting you back hard. With Zeb's daze on his basic and stun if they're already dazed, you don't want him countering you. Obviously, you have to have, Hera would be the most replaceable because she's really just there for her leader ability, but she has to be there for her leader ability.
Mm-hmm.
Zeb, he gives you your protection regen, which is massive. He also gives a 40% boost to protection, which, again, you need that to make the regen valuable. Chopper, he gives so much healing, and his assists, because he'll assist randomly, and his reduction of cooldowns. For me, I hate it because Ezra and Sabine are both such strong attackers, but it always comes down to, I feel like you need to drop one of them.
Yeah,
because the other three just add so much to the survivability, and I've always felt that that is the core of what makes Phoenix strong, is the fact that they're so durable.
Well, in territory battles, it makes a lot of sense to keep the attackers in, and especially Sabine's AoE is just so fantastic. But in territory wars, if they're defensive, I think you're right. Put Ezra on offense, he goes into a lot of different team comps, has a lot of good synergy, but then works fantastic even if he's on a team with no synergy, and keeps Zeb and Kanan.
And that's what I've typically done, because Ezra does work so well on a Jedi team or on a Rebel team. The rest of the Phoenix squad, if they're not surrounded by other Phoenix, they're not that great. But Ezra, his Zeta, and his abilities in general work in or out of a Phoenix squad.
The only other tune that I would kind of jump in on that and say that does work well outside of Phoenix, funny enough, is Chopper. The one thing I have seen with people doing on my shard anyways, and before I got the Palp lead team, it was a bit of a bugger to beat with Titans, was a Chopper in the 5-hole. So at that point, you've got a double tank, 3 droids on a JTR lead with BB-8 Beta. It is a bugger to beat on defense, especially if he's G12.
Fair enough. He does synergize well with other droids, and yeah, the GT Ray squad has brought that back a little.
Well, let's look at your bounty hunters a little bit. Phoenix are great for you, but bounty hunters needed in dark side territory battles, and I think a lot of the people in the guild are struggling with, why do we have to devote resources to these awful tunes?
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that I'm not one of them as well. I did manage to drop the Wampa mission with this, but it wasn't exactly great.
You got the Wampa mission with these tunes?
That's fairly impressive. I mean, my bounty hunters aren't much better than this. Really, most people I think have Boba and IG-88, and the rest are kind of garbage.
So you're using Boba lead?
Yeah, I use a Boba lead for all of my bounty hunter missions. I don't think I've ever really done anything with IG-88's lead, just because I had him good for as part of a droid team, but that was the main reason.
Well, there is actually a nice video out there as well showing how to get through the second bounty hunter special mission, and mainly that is using Zam Wessel. So, might be worthwhile to get her to level 85 and a little bit more gear, and actually, and a lot more stars. So she's got a ways to go for you.
Mm-hmm.
But she really is the key to that team.
I guess that's probably over a Greedo, or over necessarily a
Greedo or Dengar. really. It's the thermal detonators that make her work, so having Greedo in the mix helps. Or it should help. I think Dengar is probably the most replaceable.
Honestly, the stuff from Cad Bane is quite good. So, if we were going to take a look at this, what's the next area of focus? Are we looking at a team focus? Are we looking at individual toon focuses? What are we in terms of gearing?
For me, I think the biggest thing right now, if you're holding fine in arena, what you should be doing is picking a faction and focusing on it, because it's so valuable for territory wars. You can't... In arena, you make a team by throwing a lot of legendary and raid exclusive tunes onto a team, because they're so powerful and they all work well together because they're so powerful individually. But in territory wars, if you can get a faction using its own synergy to work together, I think that goes a lot further. Ewoks can clear some tough teams that you wouldn't think. Phoenix, same thing. Rogue One. Individually, the characters aren't that great, but as a team, they'll get you pretty far. So my advice would be to pick a faction and get it finished. Your Phoenix are already pretty good. Why not finish them?
I agree. One of the things that I love about Territory Wars is they make some of these plug-and-play characters really valuable. And if I had to pick one toon for you that you're kind of already on your way with, to maybe just kind of keep as a side focus, I'd say Kylo Ren Unmasked is fantastic. You know, you can use him as a leader for First Order, but a lot of times I've thrown him onto a team just because I need a stun. If I'm fighting a team and I need to just, keep someone holding for a little bit, he is a great toon to just throw in on a territory war team on offense.
Yeah, no, full on. That's both sides of that do actually make perfect sense. So you'd say Phoenix is close. Bounty Hunters do need some work, at least on mine for sure, to finish off. And again, we discussed before, an eventual need to bring up Scavenger and BB-8. So
I think I'd also add as well a general comment. What I've found in territory wars, at least at the higher levels that we're competing in, Gear 10 is garbage. It's Gear 11 and Gear 12, you can throw them in and they can compete and do something for you, but in general, a Gear 10 toon, they don't last very long against most of the teams you see on defense. It used to be that you get Gear 10 and that was good enough to make a character useful. They're good in raids, they can do stuff, but now with territory wars, it feels like Gear 11 is the new bottom of the barrel. Everything below Gear 11 is cannon fodder.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Which, not a judgment on your roster. Everybody's got the same kind of thing here. We're all dealing with the same issue, but anywhere you can push a character from Gear 10 to Gear 11, worth doing. But focus on factions first, because I think that's where it's most valuable right now.
yeah, no, and I would fully agree with that as well. So I think, you say it's opportunities here on bounties, on Phoenix. Probably the two big ones, at least where I'm close, or at the very least close and or lacking.
Okay, well, I think that's about all we plan to do for tonight. Our next session, we're going to review either my roster or Sith's roster, and after we're done those, we'll go on to some of the other members of our guild.
Absolutely.
Well, the quality of this will infinitely improve as we keep doing these.
Hopefully.
Yeah. That at least is the plan.
These podcasts are worth as much as you're paying for them.
Well, thanks thanks for listening to the shit show, and we'll see you all again later.
Absolutely. See you next.